and shake hands with.
All right. Ready, boys? We on.
Bigger than all my problems, bigger than all my fears. God is bigger than any mountain that I can or cannot see. Bigger than all my questions, bigger than anything. God is bigger than any mountain that I can or cannot see. Bigger than all the shadows that fall across my path. God is bigger than any mountain that I can or cannot see. Bigger than all the confusion, bigger than anything. God is bigger than any mountain that I can or cannot see. Bigger than all my problems, bigger than all my fears. God is bigger than any mountain that I can or cannot see. Bigger than all my questions, bigger than anything. God is bigger than any mountain that I can or cannot see. Bigger than all the giants of pain and unbelief. God is bigger than any mountain that I can or cannot see. Bigger than any hang-ups, bigger than anything. God is bigger than any mountain that I can or cannot see. Bigger than all my problems, bigger than all my fears. God is bigger than any mountain that I can or cannot see. Bigger than all my questions, bigger than anything. God is bigger than any mountain that I can or cannot see. Bigger than all my problems, bigger than all my fears. God is bigger than any mountain that I can or cannot see. Bigger than all my questions, bigger than anything. God is bigger than any mountain that I can or cannot see. God is bigger than any mountain that I can or cannot see.
Will somebody hold me when this life is over? I'll fly away, you can sing if you want, to a land where joy shall never end. I'll fly away, I'll fly away, oh holy, I'll fly away, oh great, how they die, how they live by fire. I'll fly away. There we go. This life of mine I brought to you to wash it and fix it and make it new. My life I surrendered and you made me clean. When I said unworthy, you said redeemed. Redeemed must be the most beautiful word. Nothing is sweeter than I've ever heard. Your blood shed at Calvary has set me free. My debt was canceled when you said redeemed.
That's a good place to say it.
I'm restored and forgiven. My past is erased. Mercy has covered my life of mistakes. I'm no longer ruined and cast aside. I'm forever redeemed when he let him die. Redeemed must be the most beautiful word. Nothing is sweeter than I've ever heard. Your blood shed at Calvary set me free. My debt was canceled when you said redeemed. Redeemed must be the most beautiful word. Nothing is sweeter than I've ever heard. Your blood shed at Calvary set me free. My debt was canceled when you said redeemed. My debt was canceled when you said redeemed. Redeemed, how I love to proclaim it. Redeemed by the blood of the Lamb.
When sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul.
With my soul, it is well, it is well with my soul.
I see, oh, the bliss of this glory.
It is well with my soul, with my soul. It is well, it is well with my soul. It is well, it is well. My sin, oh the bliss of this glorious thought, my sin not in part, but the whole is nailed to the cross, and I bear it no more. That's the essence of being redeemed. Amen? Good job, Trevor. That's the first, I wrote the chart for him tonight before we got up here. So we just got the new video and this week, and so I had to take the bass guitar out of the old track, and he played it this morning, but I had written the chart completely wrong, and I was dyslexic or something. I literally had 2 sections backwards, and so this morning he just kind of went, but tonight, good job. No practice, he just read what's on the paper. So. Well, anybody here is there anybody here that's never seen this before? Well, look who's in the back. What in the world? Good night in the morning. Pastor, do you know these guys? Do you know the Rob Mills family, The Sound? Do you know them? You heard them? All right. Man. Good night, guys. We're done. We're not singing in front of them. No, these are some of our best friends in the world, and normally, we do live together in Florida, but they're on the other side of the state. Well, yeah, they're in their motorhome and we're in ours. But they're a gospel group from Michigan. Well, it's good to be here with you. So anybody here that's never heard us before? Anybody at all? All right, well, let me introduce our family to you. We are the Foresters. We're from Michigan. We're from Flint, Michigan. No, we don't drink the water. But that's what people always want to know. But we travel full-time. Last year we did 194 concerts in 19 different states. And that's still on. I'll fix that. All right. And there we go. And we did 194 concerts in 19 states. We traveled over 60,000 miles last year. If you want to figure out what that's like, that's over 18,000 in fuel and over it's $2,986 in tires. I know that because I bought all new tires last year. So, but God's been good. Last year we saw over 100 people give their life to Jesus in services, and that's what it's about. Amen. So, 27 years ago, almost 27 years ago, I started traveling and singing. It's all I ever wanted to do when I was a kid. I never wanted to have a real job. I just wanted to do this. And so I was 17 years old and I started singing. And for 6 years, I did that by myself, travel around the country. And one day I was singing in a little town called Bloomfield, Kentucky. And that's right near, I don't know if that'll work here. Oh, that's higher on me. But it's in Bloomfield, Kentucky. It's right near Rooster Run. It's just over the mountain from Possum Trot. And it's just down the holler a ways from Monkey's Eyebrow. Oh, yeah. And so now you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And my buddy Rob's from Maggie Valley, North Carolina. You know where that's at? You do? I don't even think God knows where that's at. It's so far out of nowhere. But I was singing in Bloomfield at this little church, and I didn't know anybody there. Matter of fact, I wasn't even supposed to be there. 3 days before, I had a cancellation. And I called another church, and they got me into this church in Bloomfield. And I sang, and a man came up to me, and he said, "Hey, I'm an evangelist, and I wasn't supposed to be here either." He said, "I'm supposed to be preaching somewhere else, and they canceled on Thursday, too." He says, "I think since we're both here, God must want us to go to lunch together." And once I figured he was paying, I figured God did want us to do that. So we went, and that afternoon at the buffet, his daughter fell in love with me, and she relentlessly pursued me for 10 months until we got married. And this is my wife, Andrea. Would you welcome her? We've been married for almost 20 years now. Sitting over here at the drums, he plays drums and guitar for us. He's 14 now, if you can believe that. And he's growing like a weed. He got his first drum set when he was 5 years old, and I had a plan. I wanted a band, and so he got that first drum set, and he didn't care a thing for it. He really didn't. But by the time he was 6, he started playing for us on stage, and people, the other night we did a 2-hour concert, and he played his heart out, and he played guitar, and he played drums, and there must have been 15 people walk up to us though and say, "But when is he gonna sing?" And when I say, well, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'll sound like a bragging dad here, and I don't mean to, but quite possibly Tyler is one of the finest singers I've ever heard in my life. I've never heard him, but quite possibly he is. So I don't know. So that's Tyler. And then some people you introduce and some people you explain. This is Trevor, and he's 10 years old now. He plays the bass and he sings with us, and he's our manager. And when he was about 1.5 years, we discovered his real gift in life. It's called video games. And don't you judge me. We travel 60,000 miles a year, all right? But you pray for Trevor. He is one of the shyest people you'll ever meet in your whole life. And we're praying he gets through that. We have one more member of the family that's not here right now. He's on the motorhome. His name is Chewy, and he's probably living up to it. I know. That gets the biggest response everywhere we go. Let me tell you how bad this dog has our family wrapped around his finger, his paw, all right? For Christmas, we would leave on days like today, so we left at what? Well, we didn't leave too early this morning. We left at 8 o'clock this morning, and people, I'm telling you, my wife can't stand it being gone from the dog. And she's got a lady from the church checking like 14 times today to see if the dog's okay. So for Christmas, I bought her something called a Furbo. A Furbo is a little camera you stick in your house, and that way the government can spy on you too. And on her phone, she can call that up right now and see what the dog's doing, and she can press the microphone button and talk to the dog, and then she can press another button and it throws a treat out to the dog. That dog has gained 14 pounds since Christmas because she just keeps chucking treats at him. But that's our family. And one thing that we do, we travel all over the country. I can't believe I'm going to play this in front of Rob. I'm just going to do the program I was going to do anyways. But Rob's my guitar playing hero. But you go outside and go check the camera for the dog. Real quick, Rob. But we sing in churches and fairs and festivals. We sing in restaurants. Last year I remember one night we sang in a deli shop on a Tuesday night in Chattanooga. But one of the things that we wanted to do as a family and as a ministry is when we're in a town for a few days, we like to go into nursing homes and do a few of those. And we have a lady who books those for us. And she'll usually, I'll tell her, okay, I've got 3 days, book me a few. And generally she'll book one at 10, one at 2, and one at 6. And we go in there real light. We just take in guitars and maybe a speaker or two and kind of strip it down. And we try to go and be a blessing to them, but it never fails. They're a bigger blessing to us. And to see a bunch of them just, rear back and sing the old songs. And I told Debbie, I said, book us a few in Chattanooga. A few months ago, we were there for 4 days. She booked 11 of them in 4 days. And so we meet a lot of great people. We met this lady. She was wearing a badge there that says, I'm the hug lady. It says, give a hug, get a hug, all right? And so this is the kind of stuff we do in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to try it again. I'm all nervous because he's sitting there. He really is a good man. 1, 2, 3, 4. What can wash away my sin? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Let me hear you. What can make me whole again? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Oh, precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. Oh, no other fount I go. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Oh, precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. Oh, no other fount I go. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. fact, I grew up in an independent, fundamental, Bible-believing, sin-hating, devil-stomping, soul-winning, King James Version, Red Letter Edition only Baptist church. We had a piano on that side, an organ on this side, and we certainly didn't have any of those loud drums in my church growing up. But it was a great place because evangelism was the main focus. It was a large church, and every single week of the world we saw people give their life to Jesus. And I don't remember a Sunday morning growing up where someone wasn't baptized in our church. That's what it was about. And it was a weird, it was a different church for the North. We're from Michigan. It's the land of the frozen chosen. It really is. I mean, you take a song like we did earlier, I'll Fly Away, and you go to Alabama and sing that, they'll run the aisles, jump the pews, and swing from the chandeliers. I mean, then we did 11 days. Remember those 11 days we did we were in Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire. It was the longest 11 concerts of our lives. Sweet people, but those are some quiet churches. One pastor, true story, some of you are from there, yeah. That's why you're down here. But one pastor came up to me, true story, after a service, and he said, "Thank you so much for coming." He said, "You know, I didn't book you, and I didn't know what to expect tonight." He said, "But I have never, ever, ever seen my people so excited like they were tonight." And I thought, what concert did you go to? You know, I do remember finishing one song though, and this guy had coughed after we sang a song, so that was excitement to them. But my church was different. My church was a shouting church. I mean, a shouting church. And for being in Flint, Michigan, that's rare, all right? And so somebody walked the aisle, give their life to Jesus. I mean, people were going to shout amen, stand up and yell glory, and it was an awesome place to grow up. Yeah. It didn't have to be that. It could be a business meeting where we saved $3 on toilet paper and they'd shout amen. But it was. So I got thinking about that when we did this new CD. Our new CD is called Victorious. I love that verse, but thanks be to God which giveth us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. Are you glad to know you're victorious through Jesus? Amen. Greater is he that is in us than he that is in the world. Amen. And so a buddy of ours wrote this song and sent it to us, and we called the album Victorious. And we're going to sing that word 3 times every chorus. We're going to sing the words victorious. And what we'd like you to do when we get to that and we say the word victorious, shout amen, all right? Some of you have never said amen in church, ever. And if you do, the person next to you might pass out, but they'll get over it. So let's practice that. I'm victorious. Amen. That wasn't bad. That was like Methodists at a potluck. Let's try it again. I'm victorious. Amen. That sounds like Lutherans at an ice cream social. Good. All right. You'll be good. Here we go.
Myself to sleep, holding my words behind and what's ahead of me. I couldn't pull myself up from my misery. Living in shame, I was to blame, drowning in chaos, all but giving up. Told by the enemy I was not enough. Lost in the darkness, my heart was blind to love. But now I know that I'm not alone. I'm not a victim, I'm victorious. Jesus' blood has made me glorious. More than a conqueror. He's done. I'm not a victim, I'm victorious. I'm victorious. Rise hope in his righteousness. He broke the chains that held me captive in the sin. Oh, God is holy, didn't know what can rise against. Oh no, and in the end, his love will win. I'm not a victim, I'm victorious. His blood has made me glorious. More than a conqueror.
I'm victorious.
Life can pull me from his hand.
Yes, God.
And because of the grace, I know just who I am.
I'm victorious. His blood has made me glorious. We're a conqueror because of all He's done. I'm not victorious. Here we go. I'm victorious. I'm victorious. I'm victorious. I'm victorious. Hey, I'm victorious. We did a bunch of Christmas concerts in December because that's when we do most of our Christmas concerts. Well, we did 16 of them, I think, and then we, January 1st comes, you put those songs away, and we did this new Christmas CD a year ago, and we started singing this one, this tour, and I love this song. It paints a picture of his birth, his death, his resurrection, and the fact that he's our soon-coming King. Amen. And so, to me, this is a year-round song. And this is an old hymn. We were looking for songs to do, and I found this one. I loved it. So listen to this old Christmas hymn. It's called, Who Is He in Yonder Stall?
Who is he in yonder stall, at whose feet the shepherds fall? Who is he in deep distress, fasting in the wilderness? 'Tis the Lord, a wonder story. 'Tis the Lord, the King of glory. At his feet we humbly fall. Crown him, Lord and Lord. Who is he the people bless for his words of gentleness? Who is he to whom they bring all the sick and sorrow weak? 'Tis the Lord, the wonder story. 'Tis the Lord, the King of glory. At his feet we humbly fall. Crown him, Lord. Low in midnight, who is he? Praise in dark Gethsemane. Who is he on yonder tree? Dies in grief and agony. Who is he that from the grave comes to you and come to save? Who is he that from his throne rules through all the world's world? 'Tis the Lord, a wonder story. 'Tis the Lord, the
last year we did 2 new recordings, and we did the CD called Victorious. Amen. Oh,
Amen.
Lost you. We did a CD called Victorious.
Yeah.
You were right there. You were right there again. And then I asked Andrea to do something for me. I want her to go in the studio with just a piano player and a hymn book and do 10 songs that she loved, 10 hymns that she loved with just a piano. So she did that, and she's my favorite person. She's also my favorite female vocalist. I just love to hear her sing. And I don't say that because I'm hungry and I want dinner later. I say that because I mean it, you know. And it came out so smooth and so pretty. And then we sent it to Russia, and we had a Russian violinist play along with that piano and vocal. And it turned out amazing. Some of you just looked at me weird, though. I said Russia. It was collusion, and we paid him and everything. But anyways, here's the title song to that CD. It's called My Jesus, I Love Thee.
My Jesus, I love thee. I know thou art mine. For thee all the follies of sin I resign. My gracious Redeemer, my Savior art thou. If ever I love thee, my Jesus, 'tis I love thee because thou hast first loved me and purchased my pardon on Calvary's tree. I love thee for wearing the thorns on thy brow. If ever I love thee, my Jesus, 'tis now. As believers in Christ, here's what we have to look forward to. I'm looking forward to it. In mansions of glory, in endless delight, I'll ever adore thee in heaven so bright. I'll sing with the glittering crown on my brow. If ever I love thee, my Jesus, my Jesus, my Jesus, 'tis now.
Something different, something I probably shouldn't do, but I've made a career out of that, so it's fine. We've been here so many times, y'all know us for revivals and everything else. So I want to share a brand new song I just wrote with you, and I don't know all the words yet, so I'm going to put them here. And if I forget them, I'll make up new ones, and you won't know the difference because I just wrote them. But So Rob, you can listen to this and hear some better chords. We'll get together on this later, right? But no, I guess just the place I'm at in my life, I'm really, really thankful for mercy, and I'm thankful for grace, and I'm thankful for redemption. And just the older I get, the more I'm thankful for those things. I grew up in a Christian home. My parents got saved when I was 2. I'll share more about that with you in a moment. But we went to church Sunday morning, Sunday night. Monday night was softball. Tuesday was Awana church on Wednesday. Visitation Thursday, youth group Friday. Something wasn't going on at church. We still got dressed up, sat in the pew for an hour and a half. That's just what we did. And I went to Christian school and graduated from Bible college. But I've made a mess of my life many times over and needed the mercy and grace of God every day. And I'm thankful for it. So I was thinking about that a few weeks ago. And I wrote this song, and I have what the doctors, I've paid the doctors a lot of money to tell me, they've told me what I have is called the crud. And they said drink lots and lots and lots of water. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of water. Paid them $150 for them to tell me that. A week and a half ago, I weighed 100 pounds less than I do right now, so I've been doing a lot of water. Thank you. Let's try this. I don't know if I have enough voice to do this, but let's try this, all right? This is called That's What Mercy Does. It took the debt we could not pay when there could be no other way. This earthly gain was heaven's loss, true grace to find upon the cross. How could this be the Father's plan? Hope extended to all men. Undeserving is what it was, but that's what mercy does. It takes the broken and makes them whole, and it soothes the hurting and calms their soul. It whispers hope and feels the pain, and it wipes away sin's dark stain. When everyone is turned away, it shines the light to guide the way. It never fails, it never runs. That's what mercy does. Are you thankful for mercy in your life? Amen. It finds the soul that is tossed away, the addict bound by heavy chains, the son or daughter so far from home, with parents who have lost all hope. The child of God who fell from grace, who lives ashamed to show his face, undeserving of this great love. Oh, but that's what mercy does. It takes the broken and makes them whole, and it soothes the hurting and calms their soul. And it whispers hope, and it heals the pain, and it wipes away sin's dark stain. When everyone's turned away, it shines the light to guide the way. It never fails, it never runs. That's what mercy does. It never fails, it never runs. Oh, there's never been a greater love. That's what mercy does. Amen. All right, I want to do something. Levi, would you sing something tonight? You want to hear like my favorite male singer sing something? Rob, would you come up and help us with something? I know I should, but I love when people do this to me. Listen, I want want you to meet our friends. So Rob Mills and his wife Angie are here, and they have one more son, Jacob, who's not here, I'm guessing because you live in Michigan and his girlfriend lives in Avon Park.
That's right.
Yeah. And so these are some of our, take his guitar there, Rob, and make sure it's tuned how you want it. And you can give Levi, what's our kid's name? Trevor. So they live an hour from us at home, and if you have our CDs from 3 or 4 years ago, these guys were the musicians on our CDs. And then they got too famous to work with us, and so no, I'm kidding. No, it just our schedules have drifted apart. But we've lived together every winter in Zephyr Hills. Parked our motorhome at the same church for 10 years probably. And but God is blessing their ministry. They're called The Sound. It's Rob and his son Levi and their other son Jake. And God is blessing them so much with songs that are topping the radio charts and dates all over. We're so thrilled for you guys. And this guy used to annoy me to death because, and I'm sure your parents, because he just never stopped singing as a kid. I mean, he'd be walking around going, doing all these things, and we'd be like, would you just stop?
What do you mean used to?
Yeah, I know, exactly. and one of the most fantastic, so I don't know, Rob, I mean, we're kind of on this mercy kick, if you want to do that song or anything you want to do.
From our album,
Yeah, do you like Mercy?
No, I don't. Levi can just
Yeah, let Levi sing it.
Okay, so...
Because this is who I want to be when I grow up, right here. Levi.
Hey, you have to give us just one more. This is not rehearsed, all right? I think it's That's it right there. All right.
Listen to this lyric. This is great.
He saw the ones around him move when he sat down.
Oh, listen.
As the music softly played, Amazing Grace. Last night's fall off the wagon left bruises on his face. So when he felt a hand on his shoulder, he thought he'd hear, "Come back when you're sober." But a friendly voice said, "We're glad you're here. Welcome to the First Church of Mercy, where the doors of love swing open wide. No matter who you are, no matter what you've done, you can come inside. Welcome to the altar of forgiveness, where the fallen can fall and tears are wiped away. Welcome to the First Church of Mercy. Take a seat on the front row of grace."
Come on. Is that great? Is that a great lyric right there?
And you don't have to have it all together here. 'Cause there's a lot of us who've been right where you are. And we all came in here hurting, broken, bruised, and scarred. I love this, listen. But then the Father reached us with the healing hand of Jesus. And now we're all a part of His family. Welcome to the First Church of Mercy, where the doors of love swing open wide. No matter who you are, no matter what you've done, you can come inside. Welcome to the altar of forgiveness, where the fallen can fall and tears are wiped away. Welcome to the First Church of Mercy. Take a seat on the front row of grace. We're not here to judge you. You can find that anywhere. But we're called to love you. You are welcome here. In the First Church of Mercy, where the doors of love swing open wide. No matter who you are or what
Trevor, he used your mic, so he'll probably sound better next time. He blessed the microphone. Good job. Man, that's a lyric and a half, isn't it? I was telling the church this morning, you ever notice that we lie so much in church? I heard a lot of you lying tonight. People, you walked in and people said, "How you doing?" You're like, "I'm great." We come inside these walls and we never want to act like we have problems with our marriage or with our health or our finances or our children or our faith. Yep. We've got it all under control and we're all super Christian. But this is a hospital for sick people. Amen. And they should know out there that they can come and find what they need here.
That's right.
And when someone comes to us, and we're afraid sometimes to tell people what we're going through, because we're afraid they'll go tell somebody else. Amen. Somebody comes to you and shares their burden, you don't go to someone else, you go to your knees and you pray for them. That's right. And so I love that lyric. That's a great, great song. Listen, we don't even have a program on the floor that tells us what's next. We're just going to do a couple more songs. We won't keep you long. I tell crowds the same thing Elizabeth Taylor told her husband, so I won't keep you long. So, and this is going to be really weird to do this song right now. But I figure we're still kind of close to December, so we're going to try. All right, here we go. Tear it up, boys. You can sing along on this if you want. A little Christmas for you, all right? Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Every heart prepare and room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior. And then their songs employ our fields and floods, our seals and flames. Resounding joy, resounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. Truth and grace, and makes the nations good. The glories of His righteousness, and wonders of His love, and wonders of His love, and wonders of His love, and wonders of His love. Family. I have 6 sisters and 3 brothers, and yeah, wow, as my mom said too. And so the birth order was the 6 girls were born first, and then us 4 boys, and all 4 of us. Well, I'll tell you this: my family knows Jesus because in December of 1978, I was 2 years old, and I'm the 3rd youngest, and so I was 2 years old. In December of 1978, on a Saturday night, my dad walked into a bathroom at General Motors, where he worked building V8 engines, and he found a gospel tract taped to the bathroom wall. Little piece of paper that told him he was a sinner, and the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord. And if he would confess with his mouth the Lord Jesus and believe in his heart that God raised him from the dead, that he could be forgiven and set free, and heaven would be his home, he'd become God's child. And at midnight, December of 1978, my dad called my mom and said, when I get home from work in the morning, I want to go to church. Now, my dad had grown up in church, but he had not stepped foot in one in 22 years. His dad died in 1956, and my dad didn't step foot in church for 22 years. My mom had been to church 2 or 3 times her whole life. She didn't know anything about the Lord. And they went to a little Baptist church around the corner from our house next morning, and the preacher preached the same thing that little tract said, and about God's grace, and that if we would, whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved, and that Jesus had died to forgive us of our sins and take our punishment for us. And they walked the aisle at the time of invitation and put their faith and trust in Jesus Christ, and God saved my mom and dad that December of 1978. Amen. Well, this year my mom is just now starting her 41st year of teaching junior church. My youngest brother is a youth pastor. My second youngest brother is a gospel singer. He's somewhere in America singing right now. I'm here with you. My older brother Jeff pastors a church. He had probably 3,500 people in his church today that he preached to, and they baptized over 600 people last year in his church. Amen. He's just my dumb brother, but a lot of people go hear him. And, none of my sisters went to the ministry. They know the Lord, but they wanted to make a living, so they all went to the medical profession. We've got 2 doctors, 3 nurses, and an x-ray technician, which is good news for me because I'm a musician. I can't afford even Obamacare, so I've got Forrester Care. I almost fell over when I started to say, because my knee is really bad and I can't stand on it, and I'm going to get an MRI this week, so I'm going to use my sister who's down here in Florida to do that. But it wasn't Billy Graham on TV that reached my family with the gospel. And it wasn't a tent crusade downtown that reached my family. It wasn't a gospel group coming through. It wasn't even somebody knocking on our door to tell us about Jesus. It was a shop worker who taped the gospel to the bathroom wall that fundamentally changed the generational direction of my family forever. Think about that. Let me ask you a question. I have people come up to us often and they'll say, I wish I could figure out what I'm supposed to do for the Lord. And it seems like you guys have found your place. I wish I could find mine. Answer this question honestly. In the next year, how many of you think at least one time you'll go to the bathroom? Amen. Not everyone. All right. But you think about it. That little gospel tract left in the bathroom changed my family's life. And we know Jesus because of that. And we've been able to introduce Jesus to others because of that. We were singing in Marion, Indiana a few weeks ago. And a lady came up to me after I shared that. She said, let me tell you my story. I said, all right, tell me your story. And she was 86 years old, and she was shaking pretty good. And I said, well, let's sit down. So, because my back and knee were hurting more than she was. But I said, so let's sit down. And so we did. And she said, you know, for years, what I've done is I used to clip out of newspapers wedding announcements, you know, bride and groom announcements. And she says, now, with the internet, I go all over the country and I print off wedding announcements. And she said, do you know you can find anybody's address on the internet? I'm like, Granny's a stalker, you know? And she said, so I print those off from couples all across the country, and I find their address, and I print off facts about the day they got married, and I print off recipes for them, and I print off a list of churches in their town. She said, but then I handwrite, when she did that, her hand shook like this. She said, I handwrite them a letter telling them how they can go to heaven. And she said, I've heard back from dozens and dozens of them who have gone to church and trusted Jesus as their Savior. Amen. I sat there in awe of what this lady was telling me. I said, ma'am, how many of those do you think you've done? She said, oh, well over 27,000 of them now. That's a little convicting, isn't it? We need to share Jesus with people. Share that we've been redeemed, that it can be well with their soul. Joy to the world because he came. And there's mercy in Jesus. This is my favorite song in the world. Listen to this.
I'd rather have Jesus than silver or gold. I'd rather be his than have riches. his nail-pierced hands. I'd rather have Jesus than man's applause. I just want to be found faithful to his dear cause. And I'd rather have Jesus than worldwide fame. I just want to be true to his holy name.
Then to be the king
Of a vast domain, or be held in sin's dread sway. I'd rather have Jesus than anything this world affords to
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. I would pray if there's someone here that is unsure in this moment, that if they died tonight, they would wake up in heaven with you. They've never put their faith and trust in you. They might have listened to what's been said and sung for the last hour, and they would know this is the moment to repent of their sins and to ask you for forgiveness. We've sung about that in every song tonight. And heads are bowed and eyes are closed, and before we dismiss tonight, I want to ask, if you're here tonight and no one's looking, you say, I don't know that I'm on my way to heaven. Mark, pray for me. I need to trust Jesus. I'll pray for you. Is there anyone at all? You'd slip your hand up and say, pray for me, Mark. I'm not sure that I'm going to heaven. Is there anyone? Before we finish, wouldn't want you to leave here without knowing that. Thursday night we sang and we asked that same question and no one responded. And then after the service, a lady came up and said she needed to be saved, and she trusted Jesus after the service. So we'll stay as late as you need if you're unsure of heaven. I'm going to ask you as believers a question tonight. We've sung tonight, and it's not really been a structured program, but just about mercy and grace and forgiveness, and that we can be victorious and we can have hope inside of Christ. And if you're here tonight and you're carrying a heavy burden, let him wrap his arms around you this moment and realize he loves you. My favorite Bible verse says Psalms 55:22, and it says, cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. And then I hope that we'll leave here challenged and motivated to go tell people about Jesus. I hope maybe you'll remember a piece of track and scotch tape against a wall and a lady handwriting letters, and you'll start looking for opportunities to invite someone to church, to share your story with, to plant the gospel with somebody. The Bible tells us to do that, and it's our mission. Father, help us to be faithful. Help us to be active in sharing the good news of your death, the death, the burial, and the resurrection of your Son Jesus with the world around us. We thank you for your mercy, your grace, and your forgiveness. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you so much for having us year after year, and we love coming here. I don't know how many years we've been doing it now, but it's been a while. We'll come as long as you'll have us or until Jesus comes back first. If Jesus comes back, Rob and Levi will come sing for you next year. But wow. Yeah, when Tyler was 5, so about 8 or 9 years now we've been coming. Let me tell you about a couple things here real quick. and then we'll be finished. If you're on social media at all, we'd love to have you join us at the Foresters Music on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. I was taking pictures tonight, and I'll have you all up on there before the night's over with. But we're real active on social media. We'd love to have you join us for that. Listen, the middle of March, we're hosting a cruise. We're going to the Bahamas, Coco Cay, Nassau. There's still a few rooms left. The entry point price level is like $414. It's 4 nights, 5 days. Gospel concerts at night, Bible studies in the morning. If you've never been on a cruise, there's nothing like it. And the first time I went on one, I sat down to eat. I had prime rib and a baked potato and something else. And I told our waiter that was amazing. He said, "Would you like another one?" Sure. And so we'd love to have you go. Take one of our cards. We have a table right outside here at the doors. Take one of our prayer cards. Pray for our family. Listen, these are absolutely free if you'll pray for us. If you don't, they're $400. But we'd like you to pray for us and say a prayer for our family. Let's skip a couple things here. We go from church to church and restaurants and fairs and festivals, and you don't have any of those? Okay, well let's tell you about it. And we don't set prices with people. We go strictly on love offerings, and that's what God's always provided for us. But one of the reasons that we can do that is we've got a team of people, and some of them are here tonight, that support us monthly. And it's like 31 people, I think 5 churches that band together and monthly support our ministry. We have one lady who's done it for 17 years for $5 a month. And that $60 a year makes a difference. And we have people who've done it for much more, and it all goes in the pot to tell people about Jesus. Listen, we're musicians. We're missionaries. That makes us musicianaries, I think is what it makes us, all right? I stole that from a friend of mine. But if you're interested in coming along and being a part of our team, come talk to us, or you can sign up through our website. We run out of these cards is what I just found out. So I'll order some tomorrow. We have those. Now, we have 6 CDs. I don't know if I told you or not, but the name of our new CD is called Victorious.
Amen.
Did I mention it's called Victorious?
Amen.
And then there's Andrea's new CD, and we have 6 CDs total. So 2 of them are new since the last time we were here, and all of our CDs have a gospel message on the end. When we quit singing, I give the gospel, and you can pass them out to people. I would ask you don't tape those to bathroom walls. Our faces are on those, but share them with people. They're $10. You can get any 4 CDs for $20, or you can get all 6 for $30. 1 for $10, 4 for $20, 6 for $30. If you're like my kids and you've never held a CD in your hand, we're on every single digital streaming platform there is, and you can find our music there as well. And then let me say, you're not going to believe what this shirt says. It says, "I'm not a victim, I'm victorious."
Amen.
Did I mention this says I'm victorious?
Amen.
And that one says, "It is well with my soul. God is in control." All right. And so we have those. You can get all 6 CDs and a T-shirt for $40. Okay, that's the special. So I'm going to tell you. I'm going to show you a video. We've been here before, and we've talked to you about our outreach to Cambodia. Last year, our ministry sent almost 2,000 radios to Cambodia. And if you don't know what we're doing, I think Westward Road was here a few weeks ago, and they do that. And last year, so many of you sent radios to Cambodia, and we're so thrilled to be a part of that. So I'm going to show you a video. Maybe they showed it to you. I don't know. But I'm going to show it to you, and then we'll be done tonight. But this is the outreach that we're doing there in Cambodia.
A place full of danger and darkness. Nights filled with terror, no hope, and no promise of a better life. The ancient kingdom of Cambodia was a thriving civilization in its full glory by the 12th century upon completion of the Angkor Wat Temple City. After centuries of a dark spirit hovering over this country, no one could expect what would happen next. The Cambodian Civil War led to the changing of the guard in 1975 to the Khmer Rouge. Communist dictator Pol Pot, leader of this regime, had his own agenda. During that time, he ordered the executions of over 1.5 million people, a quarter of the Cambodian people dead. Men, women, husbands, fathers, sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, children, and even babies. This is now widely known as the killing fields. They died of torture, starvation, execution, disease, and being overworked. This was Pol Pot's attempt to socially engineer a classless communist society. He took particular aim at intellectuals, city residents, civil servants, and religious leaders. The Khmer Rouge Party had completely collapsed in 1998. Since this time, Cambodia has tried to heal in every way. What would it take if it was your child, your family member, your friend who would be lost forever, all because no one ever shared the gospel message with them? What distance would you travel? What price would you pay to rescue those you love? God has given us a unique opportunity to share the gospel through Power of Grace Cambodia. This simple radio device is carrying the gospel message to these precious people. Its ability to operate from solar power and kinetic energy allows even the poorest families to have 24-hour access to gospel preaching in their native tongue. But we need your help. For a one-time gift of $50 to sponsor a radio device, a life can be changed forever. It's not too much to ask for every family here to consider sponsoring at least one radio that may change the lives of an entire village in the far distant lands of Cambodia, where in most cases there's no running water, no electricity, or luxuries of any kind that we typically take for granted in the comforts of our own home. Powerful stories of families gathering around radios, listening to the word for the first time and asking Jesus into their hearts makes your gift eternally significant. The ongoing discipleship outreach program of Power of Grace is now training the next generation of Cambodian Christians, but there are millions of people who still haven't heard. The Great Commission tells us to share the gospel until all have heard. We are heeding that call. Will you? Together, we can really make a difference.
One of the greatest things they said there was the ongoing discipleship ministry. They send teams in within 30 or 40 days of blanketing a village with these devices, and they tell them about Jesus. And I was just talking to our director last week and hearing some wonderful updates of that. And so many of you participated. But listen, if you can't, just pray for that ministry. We're excited about it. And it's been an honor and a blessing to be here with you. And I want to thank our friends, the Mills, for coming, and the Irishes and different people. And then I'm glad Levi sang for you. Wasn't that good? Amen. So thank you for letting us sing for you. God bless you.